worried about Gio over the past little bit. Like, I think
that to me is not an example of a thing that you worry about because it's not slow, bad legs. He generally makes good decisions.
I just think it's pretty, because I'm not completely against the blame Morgan argument. Like, I will listen to that argument. I'm here for that argument. But I don't think it's just him.
No.
Like, I think there's signs of all these other guys not hitting a wall, but not playing great. And the puck goes in the net what seems like every 5th shot.
Yeah.
So it's what side of it are you on?
Well, I think
goaltending.
Definitely goaltending. I think with Morgan, what it is that when the team didn't have him in the lineup, every guy there, for the most part, and, Sandin will be a little risky at times, Liljegren, I guess, as well, but you just have a lot of really steady guys, and I guess Timmins would take a little risk, but he's not playing nearly as much.
Yeah.
And Morgan Rielly is a, relatively speaking, high-event hockey player. It's what he does. He wants to make things happen, and when you want things to happen, sometimes they're going to happen, but it's going to be a bad thing, and it's going to end up in the back of your net. And this is a guy who has needed to be this player for the Leafs throughout the bulk of his NHL career, because throughout the rebuilds and the retools and the kids growing up, you needed somebody who could be that transition force for you. And not to say you still don't want that player, but the team was having so much success with the defense not making mistakes as opposed to making things happen. And it just goes to what he is as a player, because I don't know how good Morgan Rielly is if you do neuter him and you do tether him a little bit and you ask him not to do those things. I don't know what you're getting out of him.
Yeah.
Can you even ask a guy to do that after he's been doing it this way for seemingly 100 years, even though he's only 26 years old?
Yeah.
Like, that's where I fall on it.
Yeah. First off, Morgan Rielly's got to be older than that. No?
27, I believe.
Really? Okay.
I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain.
Just feels like
he was on that.
He was born in 1994. He is 28 years old.
28. Okay, yeah.
2 years off.
Okay, no, I'm still surprised that's the ballpark. Yeah. But still, so for me, it's all of those things are correct. I do wonder if, because of the ability of the Leafs forwards, one of the things we said about the Leafs in Rielly's absence, without Brody, without Muzzin, is that they seemed patient.
Yep.
They just seemed okay to wait in a game and wait for the opportunities and find their way through, rather than try to force something, create something, whatever. They don't seem as patient with Rielly. They seem, I'm thinking of the play. Who was it against? He tried to bang it up the wall. He went up the wall with it and
tried to go to, it was like a absolute pizza to Matthews.
Yes.
Ended up in the back of the net and they lost the game to the Coyotes.
Right. So like there's these moments where it seems like you're trying to force something, trying to make something happen. And so, maybe you can't tether Rielly, but you certainly should be able to explain to him that we don't care if you get points. Yeah. We trust you to...
You have your money.
Yeah, you have your money. We need to win hockey games. We think the best thing for our team from the back end is steady play. Is when you're 50-50, change your your bars, your scroll bars, and a little bit. And, you need to be 55 sure that you got a chance to go now, not 50-50 anymore. Try to get him to rein it in a little bit. It is a concern because I think to playoffs and the moments that have burned the Leafs, it has been their higher event guys. It's been Jake Gardiner, a guy who can create a lot, give you one up, and give
Poor Jake Gardiner, -5 when Freddie gave up 5 beer leaguers in the third period.
I know.
Tough one. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, but that's but it is him, and it has been since Rielly's back that this seems to be happening. So I don't blame Rielly. I think if the goaltending's better, it's less of a story. It's not a story at all, probably. But I do think that it's worthwhile to note to Rielly that we feel like things go better when we're a little bit more patient on the back end. When you're not here. When we're more patient on the back end.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned.
Yeah.
I just... After watching...
Also, could it just be a few games back from injury, just trying to find his game? He's just not playing as well as he can.
But I don't think this conversation started again on last week.
No.
This conversation's been out there for a long time, and I think a lot of other times he's had a guy in front of him to take the brunt of the whipping boy.
For sure.
There's been a Jake or...
There's always been a D that you're like, that guy.
This is something we talked about last night at Leafs
So
Talk,
is Justin Hall not pulling his part? He was supposed to be that guy. How dare he?
Yeah. How about Justin Hall -3 after you wrote a nice article about him yesterday?
He wasn't very good.
No,
to be honest, he hasn't been very good the last few games. I snuck in my article right while I could.
But I just, they have more guys now than when he was really good that can break the puck out, right? Think of when he had his 20-goal year, which, how did he score 20 goals? Because Ron Hainsey was that good, but he was the only guy in the back end that was really breaking the puck out. I guess him and Jake Gardner that were really the true guys that they needed him to do that.
Now everyone does it.
Now every guy on the back
Lilligren
end.
and Sandin on the third pair snap it out of the zone.
Giordano can snap it out of there.
Yeah.
Brody. Like they have guys that are able to do that. And
you just Timmins when he gets in. Like
you just wonder about the fit with this current decor. And there's tons of turnover on this decor. Guys have 1 year or like a couple years left in their contract. The way it goes, maybe it gets a little better down the road. But right now with this current decor, the fit seems weird. Like when they didn't have them in there, it seemed like everybody fell into place better and they all kind of knew their roles. You know what I'm saying?
I do. But like, here's where I get hung up on conversations like this. Is he good? Do you think he's good?
I think he's good.
I do.
Yeah, I do.
He's a really good player.
I agree.
think he's good.
Skates it, shoots it, good hockey sense, good player.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like McKee wanted to quibble with the hockey sense for half a second there.
You can shoot it a little bit more decisively.
There's an argument about puzzle pieces and where exactly how he's used. If he's second pair and not on PP1, do you love him? Maybe that's perfect for him. The way the Leafs are probably going to use him, which is their number one D-man. Here's my final thought on this. In almost every series against a good team in the Stanley Cup playoffs, you are losing the battle of 1D. The number 1D. The number 1D on Tampa is going to be Hedman. The number 1D on Boston is going to be McAvoy. The number one or Lindholm, if you like.
Yeah, sure.
The number 1D on Carolina is going to be someone like Slavin, or they got a number of guys you could pick. Almost every team you go through, you're not as good at 1D.
Yeah.
But you're also paying your 1D 7, or this year 5.5, but 7.5 after that compared to most guys getting 9 and 10. So anyway, are we done on Rielly?
Yeah, I think we found a middle ground of having no answer there. I think that's exactly what we ended up on. Yeah.